All right, guys, welcome to, I guess, the first real podcast of the preseason. We are here with Evan Silva today to go over the week one slate. Evan, man, you ready for the first real slate?
Yeah, absolutely, man. 7 games on Thursday night. A lot of good options. I always struggle to narrow it down, but that's what you got to do. There are so many wide receivers on every team's roster, and we got to find ways to narrow it down. Looking for quarterback receiver connections. I think I got a good one with the Patriots. Looking for that second, third team sweet spot where guys who can get a ton of snaps in this first game.
Yeah, dude, I'm so stoked for this. Hodge, man, are you ready?
Yeah, man, very excited. Excited to see what's going to happen with tonight's game. See if we can actually get some starters. We're going to see a full quarter worth of burn and see if we can't get a good hookup, like Evan said, with some quarterbacks and wide receivers. Still trying to figure out what to do tonight with some late swaps and some pretty trashy teams. So see what I want to do in flex. But yeah, I'm excited for tomorrow's slate of games.
I will say that I think Hodge seems a lot more, level-headed and humble than, the man that he's replacing or upgrading upon. That guy's high on himself. You noticed that?
Yeah, dude. That's part of his thing. Someone tweeted him yesterday and asked Scott if Smug was part of his new brand. But like, as if that's like anything new, man. All right. So I figure the Texans-Panthers stuff, there's not really a whole lot of point in talking about it, since we're really not going to know much more than we already do until like 6 o'clock or something. So let's jump into the Thursday stuff. We'll just go through the games. The first game, I guess, on my list is the Falcons and the Dolphins. I think there's really one big play that I'm looking at on the Falcons, but first I want to just jump into, do we know what the Dolphins are doing with their quarterback situation? I know Cutler's not going to play, but outside of him, do we really have any clarity?
My best guess has been Brandon Doughty in the first half and David Fales in the second half. Yeah. That's my best guess.
That's what I was thinking too, but
which puts them both in play, by the way.
Yeah, but I was reading too that Moore might also play.
See that is also something I was looking at last night. I guess they now, they're now in a position where they can play Moore. They can play Matt Moore. So I don't know. I mean, it doesn't seem sensible for them to play Matt Moore very much, though. They just essentially signed a street free agent. Has Jay Cutler been working out? We don't know.
Fuck no. He said he hasn't.
Yeah.
Interview?
What was that quote?
Yes. He literally said, "I don't have to be in shape because I'm the quarterback."
Yes. So good. Oh man, he's my favorite. I love that guy. I'm glad he's back in the NFL.
Oh yeah, dude. I can't wait to use him in real DFS. It's going to be awesome.
Stop it. You are not going to use him in real DFS.
Yeah, I will. The last time anyone used Cutler, he shit the bed like completely. So no one is going to play that dude.
Every single time. Every time.
Remember
against Tampa Bay? Against Tampa Bay, he was the chalk last year, and he just, completely tanked. Was it like 4 interceptions? He played really well in that Monday night game, relatively speaking, against the Vikings. Remember that? That was the craziest game of the entire season.
Oh, yeah.
Where the Bears just like stomped the Vikings, who had gotten off to a huge hot start. And then the Bears went back to Cutler, and Cutler was like on the sideline, like encouraging teammates. He was like all of a sudden had become like a leader.
Yeah.
And then the next week against Tampa Bay, who had just been getting smashed by quarterbacks. And then Cutler just completely tanks.
Yeah, well, that's Cutler. You don't play Cutler when he's chalk. That's the rule.
True.
Let's see. So the Dolphins' wide receiver depth is like pretty deep, and they have a bunch of new guys.
Mm-hmm.
I had Jakeem Grant kind of
Mhm.
circled, but I don't really, not really all that stoked about him. Are there any wide receivers that you're on other than him?
I wrote down Drew Morgan, Jakeem Grant, and Leonte Carew. Don't really want to play any of them. Jakeem Grant and Drew Morgan would be the two guys that I'd, just throwing darts at them. Drew Morgan is like this little non-athletic slot receiver who's been like making plays since the spring. And I mean, he must have developed some sort of rapport with Brandon Doughty and or David Fales, who I think are going to play a lot in this game. But he's just a dart, along the lines of like a Daniel Braverman or Tommy Lee Lewis,
Yes.
or Marvin Hall, just throwing at a dart at a dude who might catch like 4 balls.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Jakeem Grant, though, he had some good games last year. He's got some big playability. He plays on returns as well, so there's an opportunity there for some correlation with the Dolphins defense, which I don't think is a bad play by any means. So I think that Jakeem Grant is probably the best play out of those guys, I think.
I think I agree with that. Hodge, knowing that, is there anyone that you have looked at on this team? This isn't a team that I'm not really excited about at all. If we get news of like Storm Johnson or Damian Williams playing, I guess, deeper into it, do you like either of those guys? I don't know what to do with this team at all. I'm not really interested in them.
No, I think the only play that I'm looking at here is like Silva said with Jakeem Grant. He's supposed to be super quick and speedy. So if he can, especially as defenses start to wear down in those third quarters, that could be a good pairing with a quarterback if it's depending on what we hear with the quarterback news. But yeah, I don't know what I want to do. If it's like Matt Moore, you could do Matt Moore and Jakeem Grant, depending on how many entries you're doing, whether it's on FanDuel or DraftKings, they just have that 20 max. So I don't know if I want to burn an entry on a Matt Moore Jakeem Grant stack, but I think I might have some Jakeem Grant. And then how much burn do you think Storm Johnson's going to get? Like,
he's the guy. It's like he's the guy that I had circled as like the probable or since Kenyon Drake, I guess, is more of a returner at this point.
Right.
Am I right, Evan?
I think they're looking at Kenyon Drake as like a change of pace back. He was the only running back that I wrote down from Miami was Kenyon Drake, and he's like low on my list. He's low on my list. They have a bunch of guys. It makes it kind of interesting because Ajayi is out, so we don't have to worry about him playing.
Right.
But they have a bunch of guys here that they can give the rock to.
Yeah.
No.
I think it's just an avoid situation. Like if you're talking about maximizing your opportunity, you just avoid it.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
And my guess is that Kenyon Drake will be somewhat popular too. He's way up on the, like you can click the guys on FanDuel. He's like the number 2 guy.
Yeah.
He's going to be like over-owned. And all right, yeah. So they have Damian Williams, Davion Smith, who's like a pretty solid undrafted free agent out of Michigan. I think that Josh Norris liked him. Sonoris Perry has had some moments in preseasons past. Storm Johnson, Kenyon Drake. There's too many guys, man. I'm just let somebody else deal with that.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, and I think there's a running back that I am more interested in on the Falcons side of the ball.
Yes, sir. 2 of them.
Yeah, we know that Julio is out. We know that Taylor Gabriel is out, but they have a fuck ton of wide receivers on this team.
Mm-hmm.
I was reading a little bit about this Marvin Hall guy. Apparently he's like showing up, but even then, they've got like 14 or 15 wide receivers. And they have, even if Ryan is out, they have 3 quarterbacks. But then I just sort of zoomed in, I guess. Brian Hill is the running back that I am most interested on this team. You high on him too? I assume you are.
I like Teron Ward and Brian Hill. I think they both can get double-digit carries. in this game. Teron Ward is better than Brian Hill based on early camp reports. I actually like Brian Hill coming out of the draft. He's a workhorse at Wyoming, 5th-round pick, pretty good athlete, relatively speaking. He's up there in this class's Spark rankings. Didn't catch a lot of passes, but he's a big dude. They should be absolutely willing to give him the ball on the goal line. I think he's like 230 pounds. So I think that he's right there with Teron Ward, but Teron Ward is a guy that the Falcons have been willing to give the ball to a lot in the preseason. And I think he might be better, just a better football player right now than Brian Hill. So I have Ward ahead of Hill, but those two guys are my 1 and 2 plays. And I mean, I'd be willing to use them together.
Yeah. And Teron Ward carried us to glory last year, man.
Exactly, dude. Hey, he's a perennial preseason star,
Yeah.
I need to go back and dig through the Atlanta beats, because if Hill is actually going to see goal line work, I think that might put him above Teron Ward. Like if you're just doing it raw and you're not planning on doing, both running backs or one in a flex and one in your running back spot. Because like Evan said, he's huge. Brian's like just over 6 foot and he's like 230 something pounds. So that goal line work could be crucial.
Absolutely. They also, their 5th running back was going to be BJ Daniels, who I was really excited to play because you could use him at wide receiver on FanDuel. And I was like, oh man, he's gonna be the cheat code, he's gonna be like Ty Montgomery, but he's hurt, he's out, he's been ruled out. So they signed Fred Taylor's son, Kelvin Taylor, former 49ers draft pick, this week. They signed him like 2 days ago. So I don't know how much work he's actually going to be. He's not even going to know the offense, Right. So it's Brian Hill and it is Teron Ward. These guys should see. I mean, I would be surprised if either of them got any fewer than 8 touches and like one of them could get like 15, 16, And again, I would play them together. I'd be willing to play them together. I think in my cash lineups, I think I am going to play them together.
Yeah. And then, I mean, you go back to like preseason week 1 of like last year or, the year before that. And you're not, I mean, you have like 4 or 5 backs, maybe 6 that get into that 15 touch range on the entire slate of all of the teams that played. So like on a 7-game slate, getting 8+ touches out of a back is like what you want.
It's huge.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Hodge, do you want to play any Falcons wide receivers?
I don't. Talk to me a little bit about, is Reggie Davis supposed to see burn?
He's getting talk. It's him and Marvin Hall, who I see like.
They have 2 Reggie Davises on their roster, by the way. Did you notice that?
Yeah, they have Reginald Davis and Reggie Davis. So I mean, that's honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if Beats are mixing them up too.
That's perfect.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Davis the third.
The Falcons receivers I wrote down were Nick Williams. Kyle Shanahan has loved this dude for years. I just lost myself there. No, Kyle Shanahan is not the coach of the Falcons anymore. Nick Williams. I wrote down Nick Williams, Justin Hardy, and Marvin Hall.
Got it.
As Falcons receivers, but they're all low on my list. Andre Roberts. I also wrote down Andre Roberts. I think Andre Roberts is kind of sneaky.
Yeah, I was looking at him too, although I read a couple reports saying that they plan to give him a lot of return work in this game. So I don't know if that.
I don't think it matters. And I think it's even a good thing, just touches, because we'll just take any touch that we possibly can get.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. Although
he can still play a bunch of wide receiver, dude.
Yeah. Well, he's like the lead, apparently the lead to be the returner this year, which means he's gonna make the team.
Okay.
So that's kind of my concern. Although, I mean, his role as a wide receiver is not set at all.
I think again, we're just mentioning guys here. They're all like low on in terms of guys I'm targeting.
Yeah. I think the key takeaways from this game specifically are the 2 running backs in Atlanta when it comes to actual exposure. What do you guys think about the Falcons defense, though, for a defensive play? Like, I think there might be one or two better defensive plays on the slate, but just in general.
They make sense. They make sense. I mean, against Dowdy and Fails.
Right.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. No, I hadn't really thought about them, but that actually makes a lot of sense.
I agree.
And they're playing like good returners.
Right.
Not that, and they have a lot of like roster depth. Like they're going to have good backup player, like NFL caliber backup players to a better extent than some other teams.
Right.
Yeah. And it's a Dan Quinn coach team, so it doesn't hurt.
Sweet.
All right. Next game up, we got the Vikings and the Bills. I know we have heard a little bit about the Bills possibly playing starters longer than anyone else. Hodge, have you heard that?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've definitely heard like they're going to play a quarter. I don't know if that's going to carry over into the second quarter and we start seeing the first teamers take more snaps then as well, and we see a couple more series out of the first teamers. But I think this is one of those things where like if you do see a full quarter of Tyrod Taylor, he's such an easy pair with like a guy like Watkins, who's hopefully going to see a full quarter as well. But we have to see, like, I need to see a little bit more throughout today. I think with us doing this podcast, a little bit early, it's kind of hard to say. But with that being said, I mean, their quarterback depth is it's not super deep, if I remember correctly, right? So like you've got Tyrod, and let's just say he sees like a full quarter and a half, and then I mean, we're looking at TJ Yates for 3 quarters, 2.5 quarters. You know what I mean? Like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
They do have Nathan Peterman, who I could see him like giving a half to,
Oh, okay.
But Tyrod is a very, I was thinking about him last night. He's kind of new. Just everything is everything is changing in Buffalo. They got a new head coach, etc. And they're not like long term committed to Tyrod. So them throwing him out there for a quarter. I mean, it's definitely not crazy to think that he could, or even longer than that. So man, I hate playing starters, but
I know
he's definitely a guy worth discussion. I was kind of on TJ Yates. And like in stacks with Rod Streeter and Andre Holmes, and maybe even a little bit of Nick O'Leary or Logan Thomas. They have some pretty interesting pass catchers, I think, Buffalo. But yeah, the quarterback situation is kind of murky because I think you're right. Tyrod could play more than more than most starters in the preseason opener.
Yeah, and it sucks to think like if the starters end up getting a quarter and a half, then it really hurts like the rest of the players on the team because, you're splitting that between like 9 other wide receivers or whatever. Right. Yeah. So I just had a big question mark at running back because if the starters are playing time, who knows? But yeah, I had Streeter circled. I circled Zay Jones. I had, and Andre Holmes, Rashad Ross, and Logan Thomas. Are we
no Nick O'Leary, huh?
I had him on there because I don't know. I assume he will go out with the starters because Charles Clay is like so old and has like arthritis and stuff. Do we know if O'Leary is going to play with the starters?
That would be a concern, I think. That would be a concern, but they could give him like a lot of run too. It's just it's hard. It's hard to say for sure. Running backs, it's kind of muddy there. Although I think that Jonathan Williams is interesting as a guy who as a guy who's 235 pounds and can get the ball on the goal line.
Yeah, if we find out McCoy is like not going to play with the starters, then I am super in on Williams.
Okay.
Or if McCoy is going to play less, but I haven't heard much on McCoy.
Well, this is like, what was it? the Finns last year, or who was it who said they were getting a full 2 quarters worth of burn, and they were still like 20% owned. So I think if Buffalo does say that our guys will see a full quarter, then I think it warrants something there. At least to have a little bit of exposure to, maybe not full on in cash, but I think a full quarter of Tyrod is not too bad.
Yeah. Yeah, it was the Chiefs last year that said they would play two quarters, and then people didn't play them.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah.
One point on tight end too with O'Leary. I think he lines up out of the slot a lot too. So like if they're moving him around the field, it's just an opportunity for more targets as well.
So you do like O'Leary?
I think it really depends on what we see. With some late breaking news, like is what beat reporters are going to say today. But tight end is kind of just a weird spot today, or this slate in general, or I mean, honestly, in preseason in general. But I was just noticed that he was lining up out of the slot, and he did that in college too. So just more opportunity. That's what we're looking for.
Although there is one preseason GOAT on this slate at tight end.
AJ Derby.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, he, of course. Although I don't know how many reps he's going to get. Can you guess who else I'm thinking of?
I'll have to flip through. I don't even remember who all. Oh, yeah. Darren Waller?
No, dude. Wait,
dude,
can Waller play?
Waller? I know. Play. I spent forever looking that up, but it sounds like he can play.
He's suspended 1 year. No, dude, I'm not playing him.
Come on, man. He is a preseason GOAT.
He is. No, I was thinking of Trey Burton, but we will get.
Oh yeah. So Eagles are the last game on my list. That's why I didn't.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Let's talk about some more. We haven't even talked about quarterbacks really. Schaub had 17 attempts in the preseason opener last year. We didn't even talk about him. They do have these bums there: Matt Sims.
Yeah, they've got
Alec Torgerson, and they could play Ryan. For a little bit. So
last year they only had 3 quarterbacks, I think. Week 1.
Okay. So I'm going to have a little bit of Schaub, but I'm not too excited about him. And then what was this team that we were just talking about? Buffalo. All right. Yeah, I guess we went over those quarterbacks. Yeah. All right. Next one.
All right. So the Bills play the Vikings. Adam Thielen, the preseason GOAT, but now that he's a starter, can't really get as excited about him. But I've read some stuff about Jarius Wright that he has been getting run with Case Keenum, so I think that's kind of interesting. And then with Latavius Murray not traveling, I'm probably looking at Dalvin Cook unless we hear that he's going to get veteran treatment already. So,
nut play on the Vikings. Case Keenum, Michael Floyd stack.
Fucking Michael Floyd, dude.
Michael Floyd is going to get a ton of reps in the preseason against scrubs.
Do you think they're really going to get
a chip on his shoulder? Been sipping that Kumbaka tea. He's ready. He's ready to break out.
Yeah, I mean, I have him.
And on FanDuel, he has the O next to his name, like he's out, like he can't play, and he's like way at the bottom of the list. No one's going to use him. And Keenum's just, Keenum is a kind of like a DGAF passer,
Mm-hmm.
I love Michael Floyd. I thought about Treadwell, but just going to kind of not do that. Yes. And I'm just going to put like Floyd everywhere, I think.
Well, and I think this is a game that you want your quarterbacks from too. You have 2 guys who are for sure not playing out of the 4 with Bridgewater and Bradford. And then that leaves you with Keenum and what's his name, Taylor Heineke or whatever.
Heineke.
Yeah. So dude, I thought Bradford wasn't going to play, and then there was a presser yesterday where Zimmer said, "I have a plan." That was all he said.
Okay, if you think Bradford's going to see more than a series, like I'm fine.
No.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So if he goes in and he sees 1 series, and then you have full 2 quarters of Keenum, and then I don't know what they're going to do, but that seems logical, right? Like that's usually what happens.
Keenum's gonna crush.
Yeah, I think that's the. So are you good with Floyd and Cash?
Yeah, Keenum Sankey, Michael Floyd, Onslaught.
Boom.
Yeah. Sankey's going to have to get run. Like, why would they play Jerick McKinnon?
Right.
Latavius Murray's not traveling. I don't know anything about this Terrell Newby kid.
Mm-hmm.
How many a series for Dalvin, if any?
He might get a little bit. He might get a little bit. But, I mean, I think Sankey's going to get a lot of run.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Like, somebody's going to see Dalvin Cook getting X amount of burn, and they're going to jam him in, dude. And then it's all going to be Bishop Sankey for 2 quarters. So,
yeah. Yep. Cook will probably be pretty highly owned, I think. People want to play these rookie running backs.
Yeah, they want to play those guys on their dynasty teams.
Yeah. There is a sleeper tight end on the Vikings that I like a little bit, David Morgan. He's low on my list, but just wanted to throw his name out.
People are going to play Bucky Hodges too. I don't really want to play him, but people that want to.
Yeah. I've made the mistake plenty of times in the past in preseason, just like focusing on like rookies that I like, when it's really you want to get like the fringe veterans who, have been to these camps and, they've played in preseason games and, these are the dudes who have like 4 or 5 catch games.
Yes, absolutely. I'm with you there. Yeah, I'm not playing Bucky Hodges, whatever. I think that's pretty much it for Vikings. Yeah, I have Keenum like fairly high on my list as of right now for quarterback.
Nice. I have him. He's I need to have him higher. I have him 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Top 5.
Yeah.
On this slate.
You think he moves into your top 3 as you start putting it all together?
It's tough. There's a lot. I like a lot of quarterbacks on this slate.
Yeah, there are a lot of good ones.
But I think I like Keenum more than like Colt McCoy types.
Or Mallet.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
Mallett's going to play a lot, though. Mallett's going to play a ton, but he sucks.
Use the defense against him.
Yeah, so let's talk about that game. Colt McCoy and Mallett are both going to probably play, like, 2 quarters-ish, but they both kind of stink. Do we –
Colt McCoy – Levitan would be he would feel insulted if you told him that Colt McCoy stunk.
Well, I mean, he is like a preseason guy who gets a ton of run. He's giving us good preseason games. And
they only have 3 QBs on their roster, dude. I mean, Colt McCoy is my number 2 quarterback on this slate.
He's going to play. You have to use him because he's going to get tons of time. But last year he had 17 attempts, 16 attempts, something like that, preseason week 1. Something like that.
And he's a little bit athletic. He can add something with his legs. The issue that I've had with him, I don't know who to pair with him because in the past they've had Rashad Ross. In the past they've had Ryan Grant. Ryan Grant's like he's going to be running with the ones because apparently he's been horrible in camp. I can't really bring myself to use Brian Quick. Maurice Harris is a big dude who I thought about using. He's hurt. And then I was looking at the tight ends, though. I think Colt McCoy is interesting with Niles Paul.
Yep.
As a stack.
Yep, that's who I have circled. Because Vernon Davis is like they know what Vernon Davis is. He's the direct backup, even though he's not really listed there. Niles Paul can probably work himself into passing Vernon Davis if he really shows up this preseason. So yeah, that's who I had circled.
It is possible that Vernon Davis gets like surprisingly a good amount of run, though. It is possible, and they have a lot of tight ends. I mean, they have Derek Carrier, they have EJ Bibbs.
Yeah,
Derek Carrier is mildly interesting, I think, but I think he will play with the Sudfeld group, and I don't think I'm going to play any Nate Sudfeld. I don't know about you guys,
but I think Vernon Davis probably comes out with Kirk Cousins.
He should.
That would, I mean, if Cousins throws 4 or 5 passes and comes off the field, then Vernon Davis might do the same. I don't know. Is there really much reason for him to play?
No, there's not. But I mean, sometimes like just the backups end up playing. It makes sense to us for him not to play, but he's running with this group in practice, and you know what I'm saying? Like he ends up just playing with the group. But
isn't he running with the ones right now while Reed is like gone?
You would think. You would think. I don't know. It's hard to say.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. And I have Matt Jones circled as sort of like a cut candidate. I feel like he is going to have to do something in this preseason to make this team. You guys have any interest in him at all? I mean, he sucks.
I just hate that backfield so much. I mean, they could play all those guys. They could play Kelly and Perrine.
Yep.
Because they are going to play Kelly and Perrine. I mean, I shouldn't say could. They are going to play those guys. So it's just the backfield's a nightmare. With some teams we can say, well, that starter, he's not going to play very much. Devonta Freeman, he just signed this huge extension. I mean, they're not going to throw him out there for more than 3 or 4 snaps. But with Perrine and Kelly, they could both get 20 snaps.
Yeah, no, that's for sure.
Yeah, I would love to play Mac Brown, the all-time preseason GOAT, but I don't know if he's going to get any work at all.
It's going to be hard for him.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be a week for him though, for sure, because he's like working to bump Matt Jones off the team.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they have 6 running backs on that depth chart, and all of them have the possibility of starting, right? So
I'm being a fish by talking about them.
Okay, I'm just making sure I'm not missing something.
It makes sense. The Matt Jones things makes some sense. What do they want to give him a bunch of carries? He looks good, and then they can maybe increase their chances of trading him.
Yeah,
maybe, but no, I don't think so, because they have to get other guys work. They have to get P. Ryan and Rob Kelly work.
Yep, and that's kind of I'm gonna roll into Baltimore with that. That's kind of how I feel about the Baltimore running back depth chart too. I see rumblings of people saying Buck Allen's going to play like a ton in the preseason, but they also have like Zoe Talaferro, who is quote unquote a fullback, but he's now I see him listed at running back on some depth charts, listed at fullback on some. I mean, he's a running back. He's just big. Bobby Rainey is back. He knows somewhat of that offense. He's been there a couple of times. Ricky Ortiz, Taquan Mizell, whoever he is. I don't really get none of these guys make it move, man.
Yeah, Taliaferro I think is interesting. I mean, I have Buck Allen and Taliaferro written down as worth talking about. Taliaferro is another guy. He's huge, and he can get he could get goal line work. Buck Allen, he's really tempting, I think, on DK because he's a really good receiving back. So that's who I'm looking at from this backfield. What about you, Ryan?
I think Buck Allen's the one who profiles the best for DK specifically. Just like you said, took the words right out of my mouth. A lot of sharp minds actually kind of liked him back in the 2015-16 season as well. So I think that's the play if you're looking at anything. But once again, huge depth chart, a lot of running backs here. So.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I guess the thing with Buck Allen that makes him more exciting than like Zoe, like Talaferro is going to have to get a goal line touchdown to like really pay off. But Buck Allen, he's going to be more athletic than the guys he's playing against probably. So he can like house a dump off, which he has done in the past. So, the idea of it only taking one is more true for him than it is for Talaferro, I think. Mm-hmm. Ryan Mallett, you're not going to play him, Silva?
No, I'm not playing him. He sucks.
Yeah. Skins defense.
He sucks even in the preseason. I mean, dude just straight sucks.
He does.
That is as clear as it gets.
Yeah. And then like wide receiver, we have Perriman's like hurt again. Michael Campanaro is, always hurt. I think Chris Moore and Chris Matthews should see run. And then the team seems excited about this Quincy. I'm not even going to try and pronounce his last name. So he's on my radar.
I just put full fade on these receivers. I mean, I have no idea who's going to play.
Yeah. If I had to pick one, it's probably the Quincy kid, but I'm not really excited about it. But
I don't like to play undrafted rookies in preseason for the most part.
Yeah.
Even if they've been having good camps, like
hype.
Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah.
What about Campanaro? Michael Campanaro?
Is he even like alive? That dude.
I don't know. Let's Google News him and see if he's gotten hurt.
He like started on PUP, and then he returned to practice. He literally got carted out of the stadium once in a wheelchair. Like, fuck that guy. He looked so good, and then like he's immediately injured every single time.
I'm throwing him in a lineup. Screw it.
He should get return work at least. And I mean, he's good. He's like a flashy, talented guy. But yeah. So I mean, if he plays, I wouldn't be shocked if they held him out. But if he plays, then yeah, he's definitely interesting. All right, let's talk Patriots, because I know your boy Rex Burkhead, who you have spent the offseason touting. Is he going to get run?
He's among my top 5 backs.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, he's my number 5 back.
Yeah, I think this is a backfield to look at for running backs too, just like Atlanta. It's there's a few different guys who might see a little bit of run, but I think Burkhead will probably end up seeing the most.
Gillisley's been banged up, dude.
Yeah, exactly. So
and Deion Lewis. I mean, they're not going to use Deion Lewis, are they?
They're not going to run James White either.
Yeah.
So I mean, immediately you're for sure eliminating 2, I think, and then you can eliminate Gillisley. Worst case scenario, or I guess best case scenario, however you look at it, a series, maybe 2, maybe a goal line package, but I doubt it.
Yeah. So we're looking at Burkhead,
Foster, right? DJ
Foster, yeah, and he profiles as a DK guy.
Mm-hmm.
But Burkhead can do it all, man. I mean, hey, if Burkhead blows up this preseason game, where does his ADP in seasonal redraft go to? Let's set it. He gets like 14 touches, 11 rushes, scores a goal line touchdown, catches 3 passes for like 50 yards.
It guarantees that you'll be tweeting Scott Barrett.
Dude, if he does that, he's going 1.01 for sure. It's not even a question.
Dude, I mean, with Gillisley being banged up, Burkhead has a shot to like push him. He also has a shot to get Deion Lewis cut like this preseason.
Ooh, that's some fire.
Not expected, but not crazy to think that he could, or like traded or something.
Right. Yeah. And then Bolden is like a veteran special teams guy. There's really no reason for them to play him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they brought in Gillisley to replace Bolden on the roster, so.
Right. You mean Blunt?
No, they brought in Gillisley to play the Bolden role.
Oh, right, because Burkhead is going to play.
He's going to be the bell cow.
Fair enough.
Do you think Barrett will even listen to this? No.
I don't know. He keeps asking me for preseason stuff like a half an hour before lock. I'm like, dude, let's talk earlier.
Yeah.
All right, wide receiver. I mean, the Patriots don't have like a huge wide receiver depth chart, and I have a hard time seeing like Hogan, Edelman, Cooks, Amendola, or Mitchell playing much. Mm-hmm. But I haven't heard much about the other guys. All I see are like vines of Brandon Cooks making ridiculous plays. That's like all the beats want to talk.
I got a good one here. Devin Lucien.
What's that?
Devin
Lucien.
Yeah, I mean, he's the next one up, and he should be. No, go ahead.
Apparently, him and Garoppolo have been.
Yeah.
Him and Garoppolo have been crushing it. And I don't know about you guys. I have Garoppolo as my number 1 quarterback. Don't feel totally great about that. I really like a bunch of other guys. Case Keenum, Colt McCoy. I think Paxton Lynch might end up getting a lot of run, and he has like crazy ability. But Garoppolo right now is my number 1 QB, and I think that I'm going to put him in lineups with Devin Lucien and or Dwayne Allen.
Yeah.
Devin Lucien was like a
shock.
Sorry, yeah. Okay.
No, I mean, yeah, and Lucian's the next one up. He should be the one to like get the most run with Garoppolo once the starters come out.
Apparently, he's been great in camp. Working with the Garoppolo group. You remember a couple years ago when Garoppolo? I think it was when he was a rookie. He had like these monster games with Brian Timms. You remember that?
You mean in preseason or like in camp?
Yeah, preseason.
I don't remember him having a monster game.
Yeah, he did when he was a rookie with Brian Timms. But anyways, I'm trying to recapture that magic with
Yeah.
Devin Lucien.
Love it.
I have Garoppolo up on my list. I like Hundley a lot too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. The only issue with Hundley is the number of quarterbacks they have there. But every reason in the world for them to give him 2+ quarters.
Mm-hmm.
They try to trade him during the draft. And, I mean, they want the league they didn't get to play him last year because he had this high ankle sprain. He was out for the entire preseason.
Yeah.
Who do you stack him with, though? See, I'm stacking him with Janis, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, it has to be. It's Janis, dude.
What about Richard Rodgers?
He's hurt.
Is he really?
Yeah. As of yesterday.
Oh, that'd be me not paying attention.
That's what I read. So it's Lance Kendricks, right?
No. Richard Rodgers did leave practice yesterday.
Yeah. Since he left practice yesterday and the game's tomorrow, I can't imagine he plays.
He caught a touchdown at Packers family night.
Yep.
Richard Rodgers did.
Narrative Street. I guess it kind of has to be Lance then, right? Like, what's
And it was from Brett Hundley. From Brett Hundley.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think Kendricks could be such a part of the number one offense, though, that I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever. I got us off track. I'm sorry.
No, that's good. That the Jags, I pretty much just kind of had like a question mark on it. But we should see from what I hear a lot of Brandon Allen, but I don't really want to chase his 2 touchdown game from last year. The running backs, I don't know what they're going to do at running back. I doubt Chris Ivory plays much, but I think we could see Fournette, Yeldon, Grant, Gaffney, and Cook. Do you have? Yeah. Do you have any and the tight end? Go ahead.
The one guy I really want to play is Corey Grant.
Yeah.
Did you guys see what he did last week 17? He runs like 4.2, man. He just blew up last week 17. I think he can legit play, but I'm with you. I don't know how much run he's going to get. But he's also a guy that they then have to take a longer look at, because they got to make these roster decisions. Are they going to keep 4 backs?
Yeah.
They probably should keep 4 backs if they're going to go run heavy, and Corey Grant is going to be their 4.
Right.
And I think he returns kicks too.
Yes, he does.
So they just have, he's a guy that you can really talk yourself into. Corey Grant, again, blew it up last week 17 when he had a bunch of work, and he's got that big play ability. One play, he can take it to the house. Brandon Allen, the guy that I've been looking at stacking, 2 guys I've been looking at stacking with him. One is Rashad Green, who is listed as injured on FanDuel. I couldn't find anything of him actually being injured. And then Neil Sterling, the converted wide receiver to tight end, who played a good amount last year and should get a bunch of run, I think, with Brandon Allen.
Yeah. Yeah, because I doubt Lewis and Rivera play all that much. That makes sense. Other than that, I'm not really excited about Jacksonville. You got anyone else you want to talk about?
Not from Jackson. I think Corey Grant's probably the best play here. Like Evan said, he's extremely quick, and the scouting report on him, not that I watch a lot of film, but his vision's supposed to be pretty meh, and I think that's okay for preseason, right? It's not super crucial that you have those types of skill sets in preseason when you're playing against 3rd, 4th string defenses.
Yeah, for sure. Like Jeff Janis. Like, he doesn't know how to play football, but he can play flag football preseason.
Davis is going to come find you. Davis is going to come find you.
All right, so let's talk Broncos Bears. Bears, I have Tanner Gentry circled and Tariq Cohen and Adam Shaheen. As for QB, they say all four are going to play. So, anyone else you like on this?
No, Connor Shaw is hurt. Connor Shaw is hurt.
Is he? Okay. So then I guess Sanchez, Trubisky, and Glennon will play.
Yeah, but how much?
He's hurt. He had like a screw removed from his ankle that he broke last year. I mean, I can't imagine this happened 4 days ago. Yes, he could play. I think the only quarterback that we can look at here is Trubisky.
And even
I don't even know how much he's going to play still. Yeah, because they're going to play Glennon.
Yep.
And they're going to play Sanchez.
Yep.
Shaw out. And we're not even certain of that, I guess.
Right.
Just fade. Just fade.
Yep. Yeah, and especially with the other quarterbacks that we have available to us, like McCoy and Garoppolo, Hundley, etc.
Yep. Do you like that Gentry dude, Evan? I've been reading a lot about him.
I put him like toward the bottom of my list. Kendall Wright is just a player that I like.
Yeah.
And so I wrote him on the list too, but neither of these guys are very high.
Yep. And then they
have like 9 tight ends, man.
Yeah.
I mean, Ben Broniker, Shaheen, who you mentioned, Zach Miller isn't hurt yet.
Pruitt, the preseason goat.
Other guys. You get a bunch of Mike Cole Pruitt. You remember when he just blew up the Hall of Fame game?
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's an ex-goat, but he's buried.
Yes, he is. He is buried.
Tariq Cohen, it's interesting, but I think we could see a lot of backs play there, so I'm not really all that excited about him either.
Agree.
All right. Denver. Is Cody Latimer.
The issue with teams like that, man, is they have incentive to play their first teamers too.
Right.
So it really doesn't narrow down. I mean, Kevin White and Cameron Meredith can play a bunch.
Right.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Although, do they really want Kevin White to get injured that early? Denver. We're probably not going to see much of Anderson and Charles, but this is another team, like you said, with the Bears.
Already ruled out.
Okay. But this is another team like the Bears where they're sort of trying to figure out their first team offense. So we could see some starters play a little longer. And I really am not excited about any of the quarterbacks because who knows how long any of them are going to play.
Right.
Do you actually like Lynch?
No, I mean, he has like a really good skill set. And he had some moments last preseason, but he might just not be good. It's hard to play quarterback in the NFL, man. I mean, it's really hard. You can have great skills and, you're missing just something and, it ain't going to happen for you. With Blaine Gabbert, he was very athletic. He has a strong arm. He's afraid, if you're missing something, you're in trouble. And Paxton Lynch may just be missing something, but I think he's going to play a lot, and he's got good receivers that you can work him in there with, which makes him a little bit more attractive in Jordan Taylor and Cody Latimer. I think that D'Angelo Henderson is an awesome play at running back, though. I mean, You got Booker out, you got Charles out, you have C.J. Anderson, probably not going to get a whole lot of run. Yep. And then the guy who worries me, though, is Juwan Thompson, who they now have listed as a fullback. But, hey, he could be the Taliaferro. He could be the dude who gets the ball at the goal line. But D'Angelo Henderson's one of my top 3 running back plays on this slate, I think, behind Brian Hill and Teron Ward. I shouldn't say that. I have Teron Ward, number 1, Brian Hill, number 2, D'Angelo Henderson, number 3 right now.
Yeah, and Henderson was like the first guy on my list going into researching this slate before I did anymore, because they have basically said he's going to run a ton now that Booker is gone. So, yes. Wide receiver, I wasn't really excited about anyone.
Jordan Taylor and Cody Latimer. I mean, they're going to give Cody
Yeah.
Latimer a bunch of reps just because Elway, drafted him, and Elway is going to be like, we need to see him on the field, So he will be in there.
Yeah.
And I think same for Jordan Taylor, who has been a preseason GOAT in the past.
Oh, yeah. They're both on my list, but I haven't gotten I haven't read enough about them to get excited yet. But I'm going to play them.
I think.
Well, the issue is that they have a bunch of healthy receivers. I mean, Carlos Henderson, and again, like you said, this is kind of a team that we could see them play Emmanuel Sanders and Demaryius for a while. Sorry to cut you off there, Ryan.
No, you're fine. All I was going to say is I think this is like the Teron Ward Hill situation where if you do have, you're doing 50, 60 lineups, whatever it is, you can just run both of them out in your wide receiver slot, and hopefully you net one of their one of the touchdowns, from whichever player it is, and probably not in cash, but definitely when you're doing some multi-entry. And that was with Taylor, Jordan, and Latimer. Sorry to be specific.
Yep. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I wouldn't want both in the same lineup. All right, let's move to the Saints.
Ryan just said that he would like.
I was saying that I think.
Oh, you mean you play them both?
Yeah. Like on DK, all you can do is 20 max, right? So I think as you're shifting through those, if you're not doing a train, if you're not running a 10-team train out of those 20, I think it's fine to put both of those in at wide receiver and try and net their expected points.
Do you run them with Lynch?
No, I actually would probably just do it naked because I'm not, like you said, the quarterback situation's murky here.
Yeah.
So I think I would be fine actually just sticking to one of those other top 4 quarterbacks that we picked, even though they'll end up being chalky. I think that's fine, and then you just run both of those wide receivers together.
Yeah. No, that's true. That makes sense. I see.
The quarterback situation might not be as murky as we think, though.
No.
Chad Kelly is not healthy right now. And apparently this other dude has been just atrocious. Kyle Sloter. So I think that Lynch could get a lot of run.
He could, and he's not going to be that highly owned because people keep reading reports of him struggling.
Yeah.
But the more he struggles, the more he's going to play in the preseason.
I mean, I got to look it up, but I do not think that Chad Kelly is practicing right now.
Okay. I'll check on him.
What is the NFI tag?
No, I mean, like he's not playing. He's on the NFI. He's on the
non-football injury or whatever.
Yeah.
So we have Simeon, we have Lynch, and Sloter for the Broncos, and it seems to me that they need to get Lynch the most reps.
Yeah. Oh, they definitely do. He's struggling. That's for sure.
Well, then this is definitely a situation to monitor, because I think if you're going to get 2 quarters out of either one of those, they immediately go into a top 5 for sure.
Yeah, Lynch would. If we hear Lynch is playing like the whole first half or whatever, then yeah. Yep. I agree. All right, let's talk Saints. I have Alvin Kamara circled, Daniel Lasco circled, and Tommy Lee Lewis. Other than that, I didn't really have anyone jump out at me.
You are missing the best wide receiver play on the slate, bro.
I haven't gone through the Saints much yet.
Brandon Coleman.
You think he's going to get run with the 2s?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's going to score touchdowns.
I think any depth chart I've looked at, he's listed as run with the 2s.
And he's been crushing camp too. I mean, he's on fire.
That's why I hadn't circled him yet, because he's been so good. It's like I thought he was pretty set as the wide receiver 4, and they run 4 a ton. You think he's going to get lots of run with the second team?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I trust you.
I mean, let's look back historically. We can look back at his.
He's definitely played lots of snaps in the preseason with the second team in the past.
Mm-hmm.
But you felt like he was too close to a first teamer?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking initially. The Saints is on the bottom of my list to do more for.
I mean, I think that Snead, Thomas, and Ginn are the first team, and then Coleman just soaks up run with Chase Daniel, who, I mean, you could do worse than Chase Daniel, I think.
Yeah, that's true. And I think
And he
Tommy
could maybe
Lewis
even
will
get a
play
couple
off, too.
snaps with Breeze. He could maybe even get a couple snaps with Breeze.
Sure. Yeah, that's true. If there's a guy that's out there for the first team and then stays on, it's going to be Coleman. You like Tommy Lee Lewis?
He's low for me, but I mean, he's not a bad idea. I wrote him down.
Yeah. And I was thinking that Kamara probably sees plenty of run.
Yeah, the issue that I had with that is how crowded their running back core is. Peterson apparently is going to get a little bit of playing time.
Really?
But I did write down Kamara and Lasco.
Okay. Yeah, that's who
They have so many freaking guys there. They have like dudes I haven't even heard of at running back. Yeah.
Daniel, what you said? You mentioned Lasco, didn't you?
Yeah.
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 There's a lot there. That's another murky running back situation.
All right. Yep. And then, all right. So then let's bounce over to the Browns, who I think is another murky situation because they pretty much have said that all the quarterbacks are going to play. But they do have a short depth chart at running back. They have Days, Terrence McGee, Brandon Wilds. I doubt Crow plays much. And then is Duke Johnson going to get run as wide receiver this preseason, Evan?
I don't know. They used to say the same thing. Hugh Jackson used to say the same thing about Rex Burkhead in Cincy, and that never really amounted to much. So I'm kind of, just not really – that doesn't move the needle for me that people are saying that Duke Johnson is, maybe going to play some receiver. It's not moving the needle for me.
Yeah, where they say he's going to line up in the slot or something like that. I think it's no thanks. I'm good. I mean – The guy, what's his freaking name? David Johnson. He was the running back who lined up as a wide receiver the most, and it was like 4 times. I mean, give me a break with that. It's ridiculous.
Right.
Yeah. And that was Seth DeValve is the guy who I have circled on this team. He's awesome. All I keep hearing about with Browns beats. I listened to a Browns podcast the other day, on the way to some hearings, and it was fucking miserable. But all they talked about was Seth DeValve. So he's sort of one of my top tight end plays, I think.
Absolutely. He's top 2 for me, right behind Trey Burton. And I would consider putting him at number 1. I mean, David Njoku right now is dealing with a sore back.
Yep.
And the number 1, the guy who they listed number 1 on the depth chart, Randall Telfer, suffered an ankle injury in yesterday's practice. So Seth DeValve is looking hot right now. I mean, and he was the top-rated Spark tight end in the 2016 draft. I mean, he's a freak show athlete.
Yeah.
Played at Princeton, smart,
Yep.
At this point,
gritty.
Would you pretty much gritty? There it is. Would you pretty much just be rotating in Seth and Burton just in and out of your lineups as you're multi-entering, or are there other guys at tight end you're looking at?
There are good tight end plays. I think Niles Paul's a good play. I think Nick O'Leary is a good play. I like Josh Perkins of Atlanta. I mentioned David Morgan, Neil Sterling. I don't know. Nick Boyle, I think, could do something stupid and catch 6 passes for 31 yards and a touchdown. So it's hard. It just depends on the lineup construction. I feel like, but DeValve is top 2 for me.
Yeah, DeValve and Burton are definitely the top 2 on my list as well. And then so let's flip over to the Eagles. Burton is a guy I really like. They have such a deep running back chart that I'm not really excited about them.
Full wave.
Yep. And then Paul Turner I have listed as well.
Yeah. You know who might play a lot, I think? Aguilar.
Yeah.
Aguilar.
Yep.
I was tempted to put Aguilar as a top 3 receiver on this slate.
Yep.
What ended up moving him out? Just other options you liked more, or did you hear something about him that
No, I just don't know. I just don't know because I don't know if he's part of the first team. I don't.
You talking about Aguilar? The team came out and basically said he has not passed Jordan Matthews yet. They confirmed that because people were saying it.
I just, but are they planning on having him be like, a big part of their offense, and they don't want to get him hurt? I don't know. See, to me, it makes sense to get him a lot of preseason reps,
Yep.
And try to continue to build his confidence, even like force him targets to build his confidence, And he's made some plays in the preseason past, by the way. I mean, I remember as a rookie, I think it was against the Colts in like the Eagles preseason opener, and he looked real explosive.
Yes. He had that
after the
sick
catch.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Are they at home? I'm trying to like build a narrative to really like Aguilar here.
They're on the road going to
No, they're on the road. Yes. I don't
in Wisconsin.
In Wisconsin. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I like him, but I think I would imagine Turner and Burton get more run than Aguilar.
Yeah, I would think so too. But Aguilar, it does seem like a guy who they could force targets. By the way, Nick Foles has been dealing with an elbow injury.
Yeah, I listed Matt McGloin on my list.
So did I.
Yeah.
So did I. McGloin could play a ton and be in there with Trey Burton a lot.
Yep. I like him for sure. And we're not waiving the RBs, right?
Yes.
All right. So let's end on some Janis talk. What everyone's been waiting for. I'm playing Hundley and Janis stacks, like, for sure. As for running backs, I kind of see Jamal Williams and Aaron Jones interesting, but they have so many new running backs that I think that we could see a ton of run from a bunch of running backs.
Yeah, I think Devontae Mays might even be the play out of all those. I don't know. The running back spot, they have incentive to play Ty Montgomery too.
Yeah.
And put him in some like pass protection situations, and the running backs are tough for Green Bay, I think.
Yeah. And I want to hear that Hundley is getting 2 quarters, like, officially. I would like to hear more about that before I go like all in on him, but I do like him.
Oh yeah.
And are we playing Kendricks? I know they have a lot of tight end depth, so he's kind of like a maybe for me.
Nah.
Not in cash. I'm not doing him in cash.
Yeah, no way. And yeah, Jeff Janis is probably one of my top wide receiver plays for the slate. He's pretty much always going to be in the preseason.
Right.
Dude shows up. Do you like anyone else at wide receiver for that? And I'm probably just mostly going to use Janis.
Geronimo Allison.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although, I mean, do they need to see much out of him? That's my concern.
Yeah. He's competing for a roster spot. I mean,
you think is he on the bubble? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, they drafted a 5th rounder and a 7th rounder, Malachi Dupree and D'Angelo Yancey.
Yeah.
And Adams, Cobb, and Nelson are locks. So.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah.
Right now, I think Allison is the number 4, but he's got to hold off. And Janis probably makes it for special teams. I mean, probably. Yeah. Right. So, they all these guys are competing for roster spots.
Yeah. Would you say that you see Allison equal to Janis, or do you prefer Janis?
I prefer Janis, but I'm a Janis truther. So.
Yeah. Fair enough. I'm a Janis preseason truther.
On FanDuel, it's saying that Allison is suspended and out. Oh yeah, he is suspended for week 1. That FanDuel listing these guys as out is just going to completely torpedo their ownership. And
right.
I would play dudes who it says that they're out.
Yeah. I agree with you. I'm with you there. Yeah. So if there's anyone we like that.
It's the same thing on DraftKings too. So those guys are autos like Floyd and Geronimo Allison. It's beautiful.
That's awesome. Beautiful.
Yeah. All right. Anyone that we missed going through this?
I don't think so. I feel like we covered who to avoid, which teams to attack, where we're at on a pretty hard stance on most positions. I don't think we missed anyone. I don't remember anything breaking like late last night, before I passed out. But
no. How about Jacoby Brissett?
Yeah. Do you think he's going to play like the whole second half?
He could. I mean, what if they decide, we don't want to risk Garoppolo to injury, right, and they just let Brissett? They have another guy there too, I think.
I had looked at them last night.
I remember, yeah.
I don't think they do.
Well, if they don't, then Brissett needs to be higher on our.
Yeah,
No, it's just those three. It's just three there.
Yeah,
two.
That's on my list.
Oh man.
Okay.
Quarterback's going to be fun. I might end up running a little less trained in general just to rotate some of these quarterbacks in. It's a fun slate for quarterback.
Yeah, if you play Brissett and Jimmy G, like you're gonna get a game out of one of the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
So rotating them is perfectly fine.
Yeah, I think that might do it. I'm good. I don't have anything else.
Yeah.
Burkhead is Burkhead gonna show up and be the star or what?
I hope
he has to be, right?
I hope so, just so I can crack one for you, man. Like, it'd be wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. And you'll be able to change your header on Twitter to like Burkhead scoring a goal line touchdown in like a Patriots uniform.
I mean, do you think he's a better player than Teron Ward or Brian Hill?
Probably not. I would probably put him after D'Angelo Henderson.
Yeah.
Where does he fall in this with Sankey?
He's right there.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. See, I think that might be the the beautiful part is you can run out 3 running backs, and I think you should on this slate. So
on FanDuel though, you're stuck with 2.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. No, there's some good plays on this slate. I like it. I'm excited about it.
So am I.
All right. Well.
All right, dudes. Well, good luck. Keep an eye on the injury information, and thanks so much for having me. I mean, I think I think we broke this. We're all like kind of on the same page. That actually might not be a good thing, but I think we broke it down the way it's supposed to be broken down.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Go through those depth charts and filter out the weeds.
All right. Yeah. All right. Cool, man. Thanks for coming on. We will.
Thanks so much.
Absolutely. Take it easy, Evan.
All right.